Hi and good morning. This is Common Sense America, and we are back with a fresh perspective here in January of 2023. And yes, I told you we would be bringing back Money Talk with Melanie, host of Melanie. Colette, who I love, my Jersey girl. Yes,
I
I
adore you
am.
as well, dear. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad to have you. Okay, we have so many things to talk about. And you know what this show is all about? Kitchen table conversations for the mom, the dad, the retiree, the military, the veteran spouse. Okay, what do we have on the forefront of 2023 for our budgets? What our savings is going to look like? Because I'm telling you what, as I look, all the experts in Forbes magazine, and they even said in the holidays, the next shoe is about to drop, predicting what the housing market's going to look like. Everything looks a little scary right now. What are your thoughts?
I think it does look scary. Anytime you have, right now, the Biden administration, like Janet Yellen, for example, is saying that she thinks that inflation's going to be going to be around for another year before it really goes down. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so you have to assume that she's lying. I just think you have to assume that.
Right.
So
She's
probably
always
not.
been lying. She lies all the time. She lies all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
probably not going to go down at all, or not for a couple of years. People continue to say, and I don't know why they're saying this, that we're not in a recession and that we may be in a recession soon. A recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. That happened in Q1 and Q2. So we're already in a textbook definition of a recession. Now,
Mm-hmm.
could we get a worse recession and not have a soft landing, as they put it? I think we already do not have a soft landing. It's a pretty
Mm-hmm.
hard landing when, yes, inflation's gone down by 1% from 8.5 to 7.5, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still 7.5,
Mm-hmm.
which is a serious problem. And our wages have not caught up with that. The wage
Yeah.
growth is far behind that. So we're hitting a negative. And just to do a quick and dirty of why I say that,
Mm-hmm.
so people understand the economics of it. When you have inflation, that's the cost of goods getting higher, and
Mm-hmm.
that's at 8% this year. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have what's called wage growth, which is how much more money people are getting, how much their wages have grown. And so when you
Mm-hmm.
put those two percentages together, if they're
Right.
the same, that means that they're on course, and that basically the same money you have will buy the same amount of goods. But
Mm-hmm.
if they are not on course, if
Right.
inflation is higher than wage growth, then what that means is your money is buying a lot less. And
Right.
so, I think some people hear economists and things throwing these figures and terminology around and don't quite get exactly what they mean. So sometimes I like to make sure that I explain that. But and also when you look at the fact that tech giants like Twitter and
Right.
Facebook, Twitter's kind of a special situation, but Microsoft, a lot of these larger companies have started cutting jobs. That's
Right.
not a good sign.
Right.
Another not so good sign is people are using their credit a lot more, right?
Yes. Yes.
Credit use is pretty high and savings is going down. So people are saving less, but
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense when you consider what I just said about wage growth and inflation, right? And
Right.
people are using their credit cards more. In addition to that, the Fed is raising interest rates. Well, what does that mean? That
Mm-hmm.
means that in addition to using your credit cards more, you're going to be paying more on those loans, because when
Yes.
those interest rates goes up, those loans cost you more money. And
Yes.
so all of those things kind of converging does not make for an awesome financial year. It
Right.
just really doesn't. Now, one thing that I do recommend, a lot of people always think about, when they think about budgeting, they always think about where can I cut, right?
Right.
But they
Right.
never think about where can I add to. There's still lots of jobs out there, even though people are cutting. Now, how long that's going to last, who knows? But I don't know. Whenever I want something, I'm always like, where can I make some more money?
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to cut. I'm always like, how can I add to the debit side of my balance sheet so I
Mm-hmm.
can, you know, get what I want. So, but a lot of people don't think of it that way. I don't know why, but one night, 2 night a week doing something else over a month's time, that adds up. But I would be proactive and start doing that now, yesterday. And the biggest thing is to get rid of as much debt as you can. That's the biggest thing.
So you're saying to all of those who may be graduating from college or still paying on those student loan debts to apply for the Biden student loan assistance, or do you think it's going to be struck down and struck down and struck down?
Well, listen, it doesn't hurt to apply for it, right? Listen, I'm not. I don't like the policy, but I'm not dumb either. Like I'm gonna. It's my money anyway. So
I know. That's the problem.
You're applying to get your own money. I don't love the policy. I don't. But you would be foolish not to apply for it. And I don't even completely understand there's two separate programs. There's the one that the news is always talking about, this $10,000, right? That the media is always talking about, which $10,000, is if you have a master's or any type of advanced degree,
right? It's a drop in the bucket. Yeah.
Right. That's really only going to help. It's going to sound sassy and nasty, but 10 grand is probably only going to help people who dropped out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You paid $10,000 for college.
Right.
Your debt is much higher, but it's very costly to the taxpayers, and it's increasing inflation because you're putting all that money into the economy. So you're having, all this money chase too few goods, and so inflation is getting higher. But I mean, listen, you need to cut back when you're talking about cutting back wherever you can. If the government's giving away free money, why wouldn't you? I mean, I'm principled, but I'm not that principled.
Oh my God.
I am not going to save myself thousands of dollars.
Tell me, where else can we find free money from this government, since they are taking everything from us anyway? So, do you have other suggestions for those who are looking to kind of, break that rub, if you will? Are there
There are literally so many programs out there to save people money, especially if things are tight, or you're a senior on a fixed income and things like that. I personally would highly recommend people look on the state level, where the news talks a lot about what the feds are doing all the time.
Right.
But the state in New Jersey, like, I don't know why anybody works, quite honestly, because New Jersey like, why is anybody working? I don't know. But
it kind of feels like that here in North Carolina too. It's like, why do you bother?
Right. Yeah. And now that I am out of the classroom and doing more policy work, I see that stuff up close and personal. And I'm like, wow, there's so many programs.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I don't know, like, it's weird. Like the fact that you can qualify for any type of government assistance when you make six figures, like, that's wild to me.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And at the same time, what they'll do, and this is what's so irritating about the government, what they'll also do is they'll take somebody who's working, who's making money, is like above the poverty line, and they'll be like, oh no, we can't help you because you own a home. It's like,
yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah. Well, let's talk about this for a second. So we saw lower gas prices during the Christmas holiday. Will we continue to see that through this month of January? Or is that just a little ploy from the Biden administration to say, ha, ha, ha,
it's
enjoy
it from the Biden administration? And I wouldn't even suggest that they even have that much to do with it. I think it's more cyclical than anything, because they have continued to stay on this green energy kick, or on this get rid of fossil fuels kick. And anybody that pays attention and understands that, with these permits and things that they're giving out to the oil companies, it costs money for them to drill to see whether or not they have oil in those places that can be refined. And then refining it costs money. So like, the mom and pop, gas stations on a corner, they're making a penny, 2 pennies per gallon on gas. It work behind the scenes. There's overhead involved there. And
Mm-hmm.
people don't seem to understand that. President Biden's administration doesn't seem to understand that.
I'm not sure what they understand, to be honest with you. My friend on 990 AM always calls the press secretary Pippi LePew, and I can't really. He says it all the time, and I'm like, "Oh, Chris." And I said, but I sat there and thought, I mean, he gets a chuckle out of anybody who listens and who's talking to him about, news media and what's going on. But I don't get what comes out of her mouth. If
She's
that
so
was
terrible.
if that was Sanders, she would have been crucified times 70. Not to be biblical and disrespectful, but she would have been.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it's like, ma'am, you're lying. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
And they say it with a straight face, as if we're legitimately supposed to buy it. I
Right.
had a boss one time. We messed up a really bad event. This was like 30 years ago now, so I think I'm safe to tell the story. But my boss at the time brought us all in. It was a small department, and she was like, "Listen, this is what we're going to do about this. We're going to lie, 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 lie until you die."
Oh
She's
my
like,
God.
"Believe this lie as if it's the truth."
Oh
This
my
is what
God.
we're going with. And listen, it works.
That's what we see.
Yeah.
That's what we see. That's
But
what we
that's
see.
what
Yeah.
she does. She's like, you have to believe that lie like it's the truth. You have to be assertive and believable. And she is, if you're not paying attention and you don't know the facts.
Yeah. I wonder how she sleeps at night. How does she sleep at night? I couldn't.
I don't know. And on the one hand, she'll say, "Oh, I can't comment on that because of the Hatch Act." But also, on a personal note, let me talk about how awesome it is that, something great happened to somebody who's in her alphabet community. Like,
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
I don't get how she maintains a job. And I wouldn't be okay, just like as a person, if I knew I was maintaining my job because of who I slept with and the color of my skin. I wouldn't be good with that.
She's in a complete embarrassment to the communication professional. And, from Kayleigh McEnany to Sarah Sanders, and seeing the professionalism that they brought to the press room of the White House. And then you have this.
I mean,
And
at least Jen Psaki was pretty good. I mean, she
she,
lied a lot, but at least she was thorough.
you know what? She was good at the spin cycle. And I'm not talking about washing the clothes.
Oh, absolutely. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Jen, you spun that around. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
you understood what she was doing. And
Right.
at least you had information.
Right.
She
This
was
one doesn't
real
have it.
liar.
Yeah. I can't even remember the current press secretary's real name because I hear my my friends say the other all the time.
Jean-Pierre something.
Yeah. That's really memorable. Anyway.
Yeah, well, as a Black woman, I'm supposed to remember her. It's very important that all of us remember each other. It's a thing.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't care though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you don't foresee the gas prices staying very low as we go into this month of January. Well, let me ask you this. We talked a little bit about energy, and everybody is, warning the Northeast it's going to be a dark winter with the energy issues. Yeah. That's been all over the news media. So what are your thoughts on that being in the Northeast? I mean, I think about my parents who are retirees. I think about that generation.
For sure, and my mom too. I mean, fortunately, my
Yeah.
mom has my sister, my brother, so she'll be fine. But I meet seniors all the time who have no one, and I'm wondering how in the world they're surviving.
Right.
If it's gonna, be so cold, and you're just gonna be, and you're on a fixed income, and oil and gas is so
Exactly.
high.
Exactly.
Like, how do you do it on a fixed income? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do think it's going to be a dark winter, especially if the administration doesn't get a clue about their energy policies.
Right. Should we put my mom and dad and your mom on a bus to Martha's Vineyard?
We should. We should, and they should just take them in, right? Like, I feel like
Right.
that's
Right.
a thing.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Because then they'd be well taken care of.
It
Right.
amazes me that they did not get more heat for sending those migrants back. Like, it was so obvious that they were like, oh, not here. I mean, we want you to come to the country, but like our part of the country, not like our neighborhood.
Right.
NIMBY, like not in my backyard. Absolutely. It
Oh,
was so obvious. I'm like, wait a minute. I think Obama has like what, 9 acres or something ridiculous in Martha's Vineyard? That sounds like a beautiful tent city to me. What's
you
the
know,
problem?
ABC News interviewed some of the people at the border. And I think one of the precious female migrants said by accident, she's hopping on a bus to come to North Carolina. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to be quietly dropped off here like the other ones were. My husband was helping one, couldn't speak a lick of English. And then there's my husband who has Southern redneck. It was, the blind leading the blind. But God bless him. He gave him a little bit of money. There was nothing wrong with him other than the fact that he was trying to get to his next destination and he was dropped off.
I
Yeah.
don't understand how that's even legal.
It's
Like,
not.
they're dropping these people off in the streets.
Yeah, they
Can
are.
you imagine living in a border town? I can't imagine.
North
I
Carolina
can't imagine.
is evidently a border town. The sheriffs here have told me that. We are a border town now. We are a border state.
5
Especially
million
because,
people a year they predict are going to be coming to this country illegally.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest with you, I am really afraid that something bad is going to happen.
Like what?
That some people are going to get fed up and just do bad things.
Take things into their own hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defend the border.
I am I'm in agreement with you about 110% because there's a lot of people that are angry, a lot of patriots that are angry.
Yeah.
They're fed up.
Yeah. And how could you not be? Like, if that was happening on my doorstep, I would be livid. Absolutely livid. And you want to be compassionate and you want to be kind. And this has I wouldn't care if they were Irish doing the same thing, invading the border. It's not about the color of the people's skin.
It is not.
It's about coming here illegally. And how is it fair to people who have to wait? People in Africa, people, you know what I mean? People in Ireland, people in Poland, people in other places that would like to immigrate here. It is not fair.
No, it's not.
Right.
Let me ask you this. So what is going on the border? And I think too, the fact that we have how much time left with Biden. And, I heard some of the conservative commentators on Sirius XM. I barely watch any of the news stations at this point, talking about we are about to hit with some other presidentials putting their hats in the race. And it's going to happen pretty soon because 2024 is going to be here before you and I realize. I mean, it's going to be here. So my question to you is, in this time that we have left with Biden, on his ensure through this term and the disgrace that he is to the office of the presidency, do we fight or do we wait until we get somebody in there like DeSantis and Kari Lake?
Oh, that would be amazing.
I know. I'm calling it right now. DeSantis, Kari Lake ticket.
You got to run parallel campaigns, right? You got to fight. But we also have to be looking forward at the same time. We've got to be able to use a cliche, walk and chew gum at the same time. We've got to be able to do that. And thus far, we have not been doing that well. We have not been keeping up with the modern techniques and tactics with campaigning. We just have not. We've been doing all the old school stuff, in my opinion, and not updating. That's one of the things that Democrats are really, really good at. Is their campaigning and probably some cheating, but
a lot.
But they're very good. They stay organized. They don't fight with each other in public. which is another thing that we need to not do if we
Mm-hmm.
want our electorate and our party to unify. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta stop doing that. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with the speaker thing. I'm not saying that we should just, let Kevin McCarthy, stroll into the speakership, but for God's
No.
sake, can we not argue in front of each other? Can we
Right.
appear that we're strong and unified? A divisive party is a
Right.
weak party.
Yes, and it really it shows the true colors of what is happening within the premises of the Capitol. As we are in this new Congress, 118th Congress, and we have a new Republican Congress, and they are going to be working on budgets and what's ahead, the oversight, all of those powerful committees that people can tend to forget about. What do you think we can expect in the next couple months from this new Congress? And you can do a broad stroke, but I'm sitting here, I've heard rumors before the new year of the newly elected leaders who are kind of have stars in their eyes, and they're like, oh, we'll get this, oh, we'll get that, oh, we'll get this, oh, what constituents. So I'm concerned about that.
I am too, and I'm concerned that we're going to do exactly what Democrats did and have a whole bunch of hearings. Now there are that we don't need to have, that are just show hearings, you know what I mean, that are politically motivated to gin up the base. The base is already motivated. We
Mhm.
already know that life here sucks under Biden. You don't need to do that for us. What you
Right.
need to do for us and your constituents is get stuff done.
Right.
That's what we need.
Right.
And on Newsmax not too long ago, they were asking the very same question. They were asking about the J6 hearings and et cetera. And I said, I have some suggested committees. How about hearings on why the border seems to be open when you say it's not? How
Mhm.
about some hearings on the extraordinarily high crime rate in minority municipalities? How
Mhm.
about some hearings on that? How about
Mhm.
some hearings on, or are there any inventive and creative things we can do to stave off inflation policy wise? How about
Mhm.
a serious, realistic bipartisan hearing on that? I think that a hearing on the Biden situation with whether or not he's compromised with these foreign entities is a completely justified hearing
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
nothing more. I don't
Mhm.
want to hear about Hunter Biden showing his naughty parts on his computer. I don't
Mhm.
care. What I
Yeah.
care about
Mhm.
are the foreign policy issues and the security issues. And that's
Right.
where their focus should be. Things that actually benefit your constituents, not this phony thing like they did with J6 to say,
Right.
oh, it's a matter of democracy. Like it's just very pure, come on. No, it
It
isn't.
was
It's a
it
matter
was
of
a Saturday Night Live, Thursday night presentation of Adam and Liz and their cohorts putting on a performance. That's what it looked like. It was a complete embarrassment. But I want to follow up with you on Hunter Biden thing. You knew I interviewed Jack Maxey, who had the contents of the Hunter Biden laptop. I did a 2-part interview with him last month. And
oh,
I will tell you, it's one of the top rated, reviewed interviews I've done on my Rumble and YouTube. But I will tell you this, in that, I agree with you. And he even said that we need to do public hearings within Congress on Hunter Biden. Here's why: the human trafficking dollars that went between Russia from Arkansas banks. So the dollars, the billion-dollar industry of human trafficking, along with in bed with all of these foreign countries and the dollars being switched. But let me tell you something. I did ask him. I said, Obama, I said, Clinton. And I said, they're rumors. We're not going to start spreading rumors, but they are rumors. And he said, I'm just going to tell you that Hunter has a bank in Arkansas, and that's where he does a lot of his transactions. So what I'm saying to you is I agree wholeheartedly with you from the standpoint of international affairs, but the human trafficking billion-dollar industry needs to be addressed as well. That kid, that pedophile, that devil walking needs to be put behind bars for the rest of his life, and so does his father. Because
absolutely.
it is still happening in this time period. and it's still happening from the aspects of the Oval Office.
When your daughter says she remembers taking showers with you, and the mainstream media is just like, like, why are we not demanding his resignation?
Right. It is. That's exactly it. But
that alone, why are we not demanding his resignation?
But here's the bigger piece from what Maxie cited in his interview. The children call Dr. Biden the ice queen because she has no ability to love any of those kids whatsoever. So the first daughter, runs to her dad to find comfort and take showers with him. The son, it's listener discretion advised if anybody goes to listen to those interviews, because Maxie lays out, in addition to the human trafficking piece of the nieces and their girlfriends from the boarding schools and what he's having them do.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I really don't understand, like, what happened to Me Too? Where is the line?
It's gone.
Where's the line? And we're talking about children here. Like, you're never okay from that day forward.
Well,
like,
let me take
you surviving, even thriving, but you're never okay.
Well, the next level that is cited in that interview is that the FBI and all of the intelligence agencies are in cahoots and in bed with the current president and the current first son. And that's why Child Protective Services, it's you and me, kid, protecting these kids. It's not anybody else, and it's our sheriffs. But I take us back to
Denny has decided that he wants to talk about the Biden situation. Apparently, I don't know if you can hear him off camera.
I can hear him.
He's very verbal over there. He's like, "That's enough, ma'am. 2 hits of throw. That's all you get. It's me time now." I apologize to your audience.
No, you're good. We're almost at the 30-minute mark anyway. But let's talk a little later on the note. So as we head into this fiscal situation of 2023, some of the things that are coming out as how do we plan for our travels for 2023? Where do we go? What are the top places to go? And here are the top 5 reasons why to take travel and vacation to take care of yourself.
Got it. Listen, I took a cruise not too long ago. Best thing I ever did for myself. A 7-day cruise. It was fabulous. I had not been on vacation in years, like a real vacation in years. Best thing I ever did for myself. And I'm considering going to Aruba in a couple of weeks. I'm still deciding.
That's one of the top places to go. That's one of the top places they said, Aruba.
Don't let my bestie hear you say that, because she's trying to convince me. She even threw paying for my hotel on the table. She's like, "All you have to pay is your airfare."
Oh, go. Do it.
I'll pay for your hotel. I'm like, "Ma'am, you're making this too tempting." So, because I've never been to Aruba, but it's so important. But she said, and here's what I vow: when we get back, we're going to plan our next one so that we don't have to worry about the high prices next time. We're going to get our tickets early and have our vacation already planned. And she was like, "So how do you?" And she's like, "So essentially, you'd be saving money." I'm like, "Ma'am, that is not how that works." If you're saying, and she works for a major chemical company, like she does like $1 billion deals every other day.
Oh, wow.
She knows pretty well that's not how that works. But it's important. She's like, "You know, you want to do this," which I do. But I think plan. Remember that budgeting does not mean lack. Budgeting just means you're planning ahead. That's all it means, is that you're planning ahead. So, like, I want to go on we're thinking about Greece on a fantastic vacation next year. Planning it early. The earlier you plan, the lower your airfare is going to be. The lower other things are going to be if you have the ability to plan far in advance for your vacation. So I would highly recommend doing things like that as far as taking care of yourself. But self-care, therapy, I believe everybody should be on the couch at some point. Nobody has a perfect life.
No.
How perfect it looks. Somebody said my life looks really glamorous one time on social media, and I was like, Yeah, because I make it look that way, but that is not.
Well, here, let me tell you, as we head into new year, new us, we matter, taking care of ourselves, self-care, so we can take care of others that we love. So the top 6 reasons why holidays and travel are important. First one is decreased blood pressure. Yes. Better sleep quality, less stress. Number 2, healthy heart. Number 3. Number 4, reducing stress levels. Number 5, weight loss. Number 6, coming back from that, increased productivity. That sounds really good. I think that's what we need to do. It's because we have Valentine's Day coming up, we have President's Day coming up, and then we have spring break, Easter, and then we start
Oh,
planning those summer holidays. So those are things we really should think about for new year, new us.
Another thing that I highly recommend people consider is the value of their time.
Mm-hmm.
Value your time more. A lot of people, I had this argument with someone the other day, debate, however you want to put it, about this person makes 6 figures. She makes like 110 grand a year, something like that. And we were debating like the use of like Instacart and DoorDash and all of these things.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I said, how valuable is your time? How much? I said, have you ever looked at how much you make an hour? Have you ever looked at that? Because she will not do a delivery service because it was $10.
Okay.
But you're going all the way to the store. You're walking around the store.
Exactly.
You're coming home. You got gas and your time.
Yep.
Your time is valuable.
Yes,
I can
it
assure you for that $10, you can cut something else out and
Mm-hmm.
buy yourself an extra couple hours in your day. That's just, people ask how I get so much done all the time. Like, you're involved in so much, blah, blah. I'm like, because I don't spend time doing the mundane. I don't do my own laundry. I don't iron. I have somebody else clean my house. And I'm hardly rich by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But my time is valuable. And I spend my time making this money.
Yeah.
not doing laundry. Like, no, absolutely not. Number one, I don't enjoy it. And number 2, it is a waste of my valuable time. My time's more valuable than that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So I really think as people are budgeting, they need to give some thought to that. Mm-hmm. And just really consider, are you spending your time the best way possible, the most efficient way possible? Particularly, I have a friend who's a chiropractor and he was doing his own laundry. I was like, sir, I don't do laundry. I was like, how much do $150 an hour, something like that. I was like, why are you using those precious hands to do laundry?
I love it.
I was like, that makes no sense. You got $150 an hour hands, sir. Why are you doing laundry with them?
That actually makes a lot of sense. But as we talk about self-care, doing the chiropractor, doing acupuncture, going for those mental health walks, whether it's 5-10 minutes during the middle of your day to break up the day, having that spiritual time first thing in the morning, having that connection time with family and friends, talking to people, getting off the phone, but actually literally talking to people face to face. I think that goes a long way for like a renewal of the mind and restoration for the mind.
And there's nothing more important. Than that.
Yeah.
Nothing more important. So it's important to budget and be careful with your money. You don't want to waste money, but gotta look at, are we thinking? Are we being the most efficient possible?
Yeah.
If you can take a nap instead of going to the grocery store, I feel like that nap's more important.
Yeah. That nap time, that couch time is very important. So follow you, Money Talk with Mel, Twitter, a lovely discussion on global domestic household economy. And Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 987 The Coast.
987 The Coast, streaming on the web worldwide. And follow the podcast anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts.
What do you have coming up next?
Don't make me answer that question because I have no idea, ma'am. Wait. I have a guest of yours coming up. I have one of your clients coming up. I do know that.
Yes.
Yes. Marcy, someone.
Yes. Marcy Friesner. Yes. Marcy Friesner.
I have one of your clients coming up, and I'm sure another fabulous. This is my little secret. whenever I say, and tune in to Money Talk with Melanie next week for 2 more fantastic guests. That's because I have no idea who they are.
But you know what? You have new features all the time. You
I
have
do.
great sponsors and you have a great network. So for people who really want to save some money, but yet still have some fun, Money Talk with Melanie.
Very interesting, diverse guests. And yeah, take a look in the archives. You never know what you might find.
Well, thank you for kicking off the new year with Common Sense America. I'm Eden Hill. Thanks, Money Talk with Melanie.
Thank you.